My name is George Lombardi. I have worked at Winston Taylor since I graduated from law school, which was 1984, and I've been here ever since. I've always been in the litigation department.
I'm Mike Mullins. I am the co-chair of the finance practice based here in Chicago. I've been at Winston for my entire career, starting my 29th year here at Winston. I think it's more unique to Chicago being the home office, but I think it's a sense of values that the firm creates and the loyalty that it embraces here at the firm, and certainly interested in your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, well, I think it's about the people. To answer your question about whether it's unusual, I think it is unusual in the universe of law firms for people to be here the length of time we've been here and to have this be the only place you have practiced at. And I think the reason for me has always been the people, the talent, the collegiality make it just an exceptionally good place to practice and an easy place to be loyal to.
I would say it more in the context of client development in terms of defining moments. Some clients can take years and years to develop, and you may take them out to many lunches, dinners, concerts, etc., and nothing comes of it. And so I remember there's one current client now that we started trying to mine well before the pandemic hit. So we had pitch meetings, we had calls, every once in a while they would reach out with questions. And then we didn't hear anything for a long time. We thought, well, geez, this is sort of a lost cause, right? This is not going to go anywhere. And then, lo and behold, right after the pandemic starts, we get a call from the general counsel saying, hey, remember us? And of course, I said, absolutely, love to take your call. So from there, we started doing transactions, kind of one here, one there, and now we're in the regular rotation and doing a wide variety of things for this client. And so that's very rewarding because it took, I would say, 8 years from probably start to where we are right now to get that client to where we hope it to be and expect it to grow further.
One of the first big cases that I handled as the lead lawyer was a challenge to the patent that covered the drug Prozac. And at that time, patent challenges in this area had not been successful, and certainly not one that covered a drug that was that important. And so I handled that case, and I remember walking into the Federal Circuit for that argument, and the courtroom was completely full. There was a lot of press there because of the interest in the drug Prozac. And we ended up winning the case. And so for me, to be able to have the opportunity even to do that case, but also to have a good result was a significant breakthrough for me at a time when I was a pretty young attorney.
I love what I do because there are so few times in our careers that we can really shape a transaction or be creative. I think by nature, lawyers and deals are intended to be conservative for a lot of reasons. One is insurance and liability and all those fun things. But when given those opportunities to provide a different take on a transaction or a unique structure, because you can pull from different ideas and different transactions and come up with a unique structure, that is what is most rewarding to me. And why I continue to do this. Believe me, it's not the day-to-day tasks that we do. It's some of those unique moments where it's like an aha, or a client says, that's a great idea, let's see if that works, or let's put that into motion, and that's what makes it rewarding.
I think I like basically all aspects of getting a case ready for trial and actually trying the case. And I think I like that because there's such a wide range of challenges that you face. I love analyzing a case figuring out what the strengths of your side are and how you'll present them, figuring out what the weaknesses of the other side are and how you'll cross witnesses, how you'll present it to a jury or a judge in a way that they can understand it and find it compelling. And so it ranges from analytical challenges to challenges of presentation and being in front of people and expressing yourself and making points in a way that is persuasive. And that diversity of challenges is something that I have always enjoyed.
This is where there's a lot of overlap on the litigation side versus the transaction side. You find out what, maybe not necessarily the weaknesses, but what the sensitivities are on the other side, and try to either exploit them or at least highlight them for the client and to try and achieve your goal and your position. It may not always work, but at least you're analyzing different viewpoints and trying to come up with the right kind of a tailor-made situation for each transaction.
Yeah, and it does sound like an overlap to me. There's a lot of analysis that goes into both, it sounds like. And then you have to be able to communicate that analysis, whether it's to your client, or I assume the people on the other side of the transaction you have to deal with, and in my world, communicating it to people in a courtroom. So I'm very excited about the future of Winston also, but I'm going to focus on a more global thing, which is AI. And I have no idea, I'm not somebody that's an expert in AI, but one of the things that seems to be possible is that AI will help make parts of litigation that are expensive for clients and become prohibitive for clients in terms of actually going to trial in cases will become less expensive, and that maybe the result of that will be that more cases and then more attorneys have the opportunity to go to trial. I think that would be great for our firm because I think we have a lot of great trial lawyers here. My advice to every young lawyer in litigation is to get on your feet and take every opportunity you have and develop your skills. And so that could mean agreeing to take a deposition that maybe isn't very interesting, or it's on a case that you're not involved in and they need somebody to jump in on. Or it could mean going and handling an argument in court, whether it's minor or major or whatever.
I would say to new lawyers starting out that it's never too early to build relationships. I would say both inside and outside the firm. Inside the firm is probably easier because you're around them day to day and can take advantage of opportunities for mentorship, training, et cetera. But outside the firm, it's building on work that you've done and people that you've met. But then continuing those relationships, even if you're not working with them at the time, it's continue to interact with them in some way, somehow, whether it's billable work or not billable work, and I think more times than not those pay off in the end. And when a client has a choice as to what counsel to retain, they are much more likely to retain someone that they have a trusting relationship with and that they like. And so that certainly benefited me in my career, and I mention that to our associates all the time.